Okay, welcome back. Eric Arnold here in the Politics Barn. What is it? The wee hours of Friday, I think it's the 12th of July. Where are we at now in the Democrat Civil War here? So much drama going on. The big news being that Joe Biden had his big boy press conference. I just still cannot imagine that these guys are actually using that terminology thinking it is good, helpful to them. It's insane. It's like you're dealing with a guy that you're trying to make us all believe is the smartest, knowledgeablest, with it 81-year-old ever to walk the face of the earth, and you use little boy words like big boy. Are you kidding me? But that's what they're doing. So he had his big boy press conference, the kind that most presidents have routinely, the kind that Donald Trump had all the time, where he would face a hostile press with hostile questions being thrown at him, and he handled it well because Donald Trump was a good president. He was a good president. He was not a monster. He was a pretty good president. He was able to execute the duties of being president, like informing the American public from his own mouth of what he was doing, what his administration thought about the issues of the day. Not relying on a mouthpiece, a press secretary. Oh, of course, he used that too, but he had press conferences and he took questions from the most hostile of hostile enemy press reporters. So you can't say that he hid or ducked or dodged. Donald Trump stood out there and he took the heat. This man, Joe Biden, no, he has not done that at all. Largely because he's incapable of doing that, as we saw tonight. They trot him out there. Oh yeah, we'll show you he's capable. And we all saw, this guy's no more capable of running the country than this stick. This stick could do a better job of running the country than Joe Biden. Joe Biden's a vegetable. Anyone that's listened to me talk in this barn knows that. We all knew he was a vegetable. The only people that chose to believe he wasn't a vegetable were just lying to themselves, or they're just incredibly stupid. It could be either. But no, I mean, hey, he let's see, where did he start? I guess before it even began, he flubbed the main guy of the whole damn conference, this NATO conference, which, for the most part, NATO does nothing unless there's a war. Now NATO's like, oh, super important. So the one guy there, the guy that kicked off this whole damn war, the whole focus of the whole conference, he calls him by the wrong name. I mean, people make mistakes, but, that's kind of stupid. It's just kind of stupid. Hey, President Putin. Wait a minute, that was an error. Oh, it's Zelensky. Right, of course. So, so we start there and we go downhill from there. He read the teleprompter, basically gave a speech about his greatness. That lasts about 8-9 minutes. He gets, I'll give him a B for being able to read a teleprompter. Really not a requirement for being president, but, pat him on the head. You were able to read the teleprompter. All the questions, we don't know if the questions were known in advance by Biden. Certainly the people that he was going to call on were pre-ordered, as he had a list on who he was supposed to call on, so he stuck to the adhered upon list. So it certainly does follow that the questions could have been previously submitted to the Biden team so they could prepare for the answers, not beyond their, in other words, they've done this before. Certainly they've done it recently, just within the last 2 weeks. 2 different radio shows admitted, yeah, they gave us the questions and we asked most of the questions they gave us. It's like, wow, I guess that's the type of thing is you're a local radio station with an audience of 6. Here comes the President of the United States who wants to be interviewed on your station. It probably behooves you to play ball with this guy. He's incredibly powerful. He's incredibly vindictive. So if you submarine this guy, you could be looking at some pretty nasty stuff happening to you. IRS audits, your FCC license suddenly in jeopardy, all sorts of things. So yeah, sure, we'll ask your questions. Why not? I'm not here to try to get the president. I'm just happy he's here. So that's what happens there. How much is your integrity worth? Not for those kind of local Democrat leading stations, it's not worth a hell of a lot, apparently. But anyway, back to the press conference. Most of the questions were, some geared towards foreign policy, some just another re-asking of, why don't you quit? Aren't you too old? The one point he made there where I'm almost like, okay, I'm almost certain that's not true, but I haven't looked it up myself, where he's going on about how corporate profits have doubled. Have they really? Because I don't think they have. And even if they have, I guess you could say they've doubled because businesses were losing money during the pandemic because you made them all shut down for no goddamn reason. So I don't think that, I think it's just another exaggeration, lie, dementia-riddled imagination of Biden. But it really does get to the core of this race. If you could just set aside for a moment the noise, is Biden too old? Is he too befuddled a freaking vegetable to do the job? Is Trump a monster? Is he going to kill us all? Because I guess that's what monsters do. If you were able to separate that kind of crap out, the race really does come down to capitalism versus communism. And nothing illustrates that point more than this corporate doubling nonsense. Joe Biden's view of business, of corporate America, is it's evil, that it's terrible, it shouldn't exist, that basically he should have control over the entire economy. And everything he does tries to achieve that end, i.e., telling the auto industry, you can't make a certain type of vehicle because people, even though people don't want these electric vehicles, I'm telling you, damn it, you're going to make them. And beyond a certain date, you're not going to be allowed to make these gasoline-powered things. Nowhere is that in the capitalist ethos. That's not the way the free market's supposed to work. And of course, all it does is make things worse when you do things like that. Communism has failed everywhere, usually with a giant pile of bodies to show for it. But everyone wants to keep trying it. They just keep saying, well, no, that wasn't real communism. We're going to do it the way it's supposed to be done over here. And of course, it just never works, ever. And no one ever admits that they're doing that. It's like, well, I'm not a communist. Well, then why the hell are you keep fiddling with the free market? Why are you telling auto manufacturers that they got to make these goddamn electric cars that nobody wants? Because you're a communist, that's why. So yeah, I'd love to see Trump be able to take that argument at this befuddled idiot and say, why do you keep meddling with the free market? You are making things worse. This whole idea that, why is there inflation? Well, you shut the economy down for 2 goddamn years, all the while you're printing money that you don't have or have no right to make, flooding the economy with all these cheap dollars. All that does is make everything more expensive, which just hurts the poor and the middle class. The rich people are so rich they don't care. They can afford these things that cost 10, 15, 20, 40% more. The poor people can't. And then, of course, we are not allowed to drill for our own oil anymore. It just won't let us do it. So we got to pay for our energy through the nose. Energy costs permeate the entire economy. Everything has an energy cost attached to it. You have food. How do you get the food out of the ground? With machines that run on gas or diesel. Everything has an energy cost attached to it. So if energy costs more, and if you've filled up your car or truck lately at the gas pump, you see that it does, you know you're paying more, and it goes through everything. And that's Biden. That's his fault. But at any rate, back to the press conference. I don't know he made any ridiculous, obvious, stupid mistakes. I think he was worse in the debate. But then, of course, in the debate, he was getting tougher questions asked of him. The debate lasted longer. This dragged on for about an hour. There's a giant, I don't know what that is, giant moth, I guess. Yeah, like almost Stephen King kind of moth. At any rate. But clearly the guy's a vegetable. I mean, he got, as long as the press conference went longer, he got worse. He started doing that weird whisper thing, that creepy whisper thing, like he's sharing some secret that only he knows with the rest of us morons. And then the weird anger just out of nowhere, just totally misplaced, like it was almost like a flash went through his head and he was told by his advisors, and get angry out there. At some point, get angry, be righteously indignant, and show him who's boss. And he hadn't done it through the whole damn press conference. He's like, oh shit, I need to drop this in there somewhere. Bullet! Death! Tapioca! Mommy! I don't know. It was so misplaced and weird. It was like he was talking about Kamala Harris, and then he started to go into abortion and gun control, and then he just flipped out. And you know damn well he's not mad about gun control because it's not a big platform or a plank in his platform. The Democrats aren't really pushing hard on gun control. They hardly talk about it at all. So you know it's not something that he was actually angry about. So this weird fake anger that he just erupts out with a Tourette's type outburst, just very, very demented, weird. It's like, whoa, old man jumping out of his skin there. What's going on? Look out. And could you see yourself as one of his, 30-something-year-old staffers, and you're in a meeting with this guy, and you never know when he's just gonna, do some crazy old man thing. They must be scared shitless of this guy. I wouldn't want to work for a guy like that. There's no way in the world I would. But then he wrapped it up, and he got even worse after that. They asked him a question about the delegates. Hey, what if you come to the convention and your delegates, are they free to do what they want? Yeah, sure. They can do whatever. Wow. They won't, but that's democracy. I'm thinking that's the opposite of democracy, you moron. I mean, you guys had a primary. Those delegates are supposed to be bound to the candidate. Those delegates are allegedly supposed to represent the will of the people who voted for a certain candidate. And you're telling me, nah, all that doesn't matter. They can do what they want. It's like, okay, I don't know, you may regret saying that. They may hold you to that, and you may not like it. Because I think there's a good chance if they let those delegates do what they want, they might jump on over here to James Carville's finest hour where they get to be the hero. The delegates have all the power all of a sudden. I'm a nameless, faceless Arapachick county commissioner from some blue city in some blue hellhole state. And now all of a sudden I'm important. They're coming to me saying, what do you think, Commissioner blah, blah, blah? Well, I don't know. No one's ever asked me a question before. I've never been important before. But now suddenly people are asking whether I want to vote for Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, Hillary Clinton, Josh Shapiro, Joe Biden. That's kind of tempting. Suddenly I'm important. So, yeah, I have no idea why he would just throw that out there and say, yeah, I'm so damn, that's where you know the guy's gone. It's like, you don't even know what's going on around you, do you? You don't know that it is the cartoon where the cartoon character standing here in the middle of the floor, and the saw is coming up from the floor beneath him, cutting a circle around the character, and then he's going to fall through the floor, through the hole that's being cut under him, all unbeknownst to him, that it's all going on. That's what's happening to this guy, and he's too stupid or demented to know what's going on. It's like, you moron. You don't think that there's a serious move afoot right now to get rid of you? You need to start pushing back, but he can't because, I mean, that guy you saw out there tonight, try to picture him in a room with somebody that he can't push around. In other words, yeah, he can shove his little underlings around and terrify them with big outbursts, or his idiot son, or that sort of thing. See him trying to win an argument with his wife, the one who's telling him what to do. See how if he has a disagreement with her, in other words, let's just say, I don't know, let's just say he thinks to himself, way back in the day, we did this with Israel, and we, let Israel do their thing. Just said, we're going to back you 100%. If you want to go whole hog in over there and take out Hezbollah, we're with you. What if we did that, he says to himself. And he goes to Jill and says, I'm thinking of giving the green light to Israel, letting them go ahead and just do what they think's necessary to take out these damn terrorists. And she goes, oh my God, no, Joe, you can't do that. Do you think he would have the ability to win that argument with her? Or would he end up going, oh, you're right, dear. You're right. I mean, you're right. He doesn't have the ability to formulate a coherent thought that contradicts what, say, Jill Biden, or that, for that matter, say another foreign leader that he's negotiating with. He talks like he's in the daily conversations with the president of China. Can you imagine this guy talking back and forth with the president of China and winning a contradictory point, something that the Chinese guy didn't want already? In other words, can you see him winning a deal or bargaining a point for the United States? I can't. I can't at all. This guy would just acquiesce to whatever the hell the other guy wanted. Oh, yeah, you're right. But I'll tell you, we need to keep this. Well, sure, you can keep that. That's not important to us. But we sure as hell want this over here. Oh, well, as long as we keep, I'm telling you, if I don't get my tapioca on Thursdays, there's going to be hell to pay. There is no way in the world that this guy is running anything, and anybody that has two brain cells to rub together knows it. It's just the way it is. I mean, seriously, think about it. If they woke this guy up at 3 a.m. and said the Russians have just broken through the whatever gap in the Ukraine, and they're on their way to Berlin or Warsaw or goddamn Pittsburgh, would anyone listen to this guy? I mean, if he said, well, that's it then, warm up the ICBMs in the bullpen, we're going all out, they're not going to listen to this guy at all. They're just going to say, all right, Mr. President, well, we'll keep you apprised. And they would just cut him out of the loop. And he could do whatever he wants. But he's just not part of the decision-making tree at that point. I can't see that any other way. I mean, the generals would just go, look, I'll take the heat. If that guy somehow is able to string 4 sentences together, if we survive all this, I'll take the heat. And if he demands I get hung for treason, I'm pretty sure the American people are going to throw his ass out on his head before I get hung for treason. So there's no way in the world this guy is involved in anything. He is a figurehead. He is a vegetative figurehead. So is what it is. Is what it is. I mean, he just demonstrated it more tonight. So what else we got here? They're still going after, I still say he's gone. I mean, he seems to think that he has support there in his own party. I believe it was Megyn Kelly who said this. She said there's no way a Democrat president can withstand the Democrat media attacking him. And she's right, because of course the Democrats, they support their president with the media. That's the is that how you pronounce it? Praetorian Guard, the guardians of the powerful people. It's the opposite of the way it should be. The media is supposed to represent the people. It's supposed to represent the powerless. It's supposed to keep the powerful on their toes and keeping them from putting one over on all the rest of us powerless people. Well, of course, that's not the way it works in this country, because we're no longer a Jeffersonian democracy, if we ever were. The media is simply part of the powerful elite tree, if you will. So they do their job. They just keep gatekeepers. They're a moat. They keep us from getting at the powerful people. They just pay no attention behind the curtain, peasant, to the great and powerful Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. So if they've switched roles now and actually are asking tough questions of the Democrat president, there's no way the guy can survive. Republican presidents, of course, are inoculated to that sort of thing. We're used to it. We always get the tough questions. They're always trying to tear down our ideas and our ideals. Capitalism? Oh, that's so cruel. That's horrible. Why don't we try communism? No one's ever tried that before. And they never use those words, of course, because people might actually remember that communism's bad. So they use all kind of phony words like progressivism and socialism and DEI, diversity, something else and something else. Basically didn't earn it. They just use all that other crap. It's all basically just one thing, communism. That's all it is. So, yeah, I don't know how Biden survives it. Pelosi come out, and gave him, I don't, she basically just pretended like he's not there. Well, Joe's got to make his decision soon. So, well, I mean, he already has. You're pretending that he didn't stand there and say, I'm in, damn it. Unless the Lord Almighty comes down here and tells me to get out, I'm into the end. And it's like, well, she just pretended he didn't say that. It's like, but even worse is this Clooney thing, where Clooney, I guess, wrote an op-ed saying, he's got to go. He's just lost his fastball. We can't win. And remember, that's the embarrassing about all of this, is that it has nothing to do with Joe Biden being capable, Joe Biden being ability to discharge the duties of his job. It all comes back to we don't think we can win, or we don't think we have a good enough chance to win. In other words, they could win with Joe Biden. It's like, that's how bad it is. They're pretending like they have zero chance. Bullshit. They have a good chance to win with Biden. Certainly higher than 20%. I'd put it at probably 35, 40%. But that's not good enough for them, because they like sure things. As Carville said, we don't lose. We don't lose. So he wants a sure thing, rather than, play the game honestly. So It has nothing to do with whether Joe Biden's a vegetable or not. They're just afraid they're going to lose. So at any rate, Clooney writes this op-ed saying, we're going to lose, you got to get out. Apparently it was shown prior to publication to Barack Obama. Clooney, I guess these guys, a guy like Clooney, I guess has old B.O. there on his speed dial. Just says, hey, B.O., what's up, man? It's George. How's it going? Yeah, well, I'm a little worried. Yeah, I'm worried too. I'm going to call for this guy to get out. What do you think? Well, I don't know. Well, are you going to, are you going to bury me and throw me under the bus when this gets printed? Well, no, I'm not going to do that. So you're okay then if I go ahead and give this to the newspaper and let them print it? Yeah, well, I didn't really say that, but yeah, sure, go ahead. I don't care. That's pretty damning, in that Barack Obama, probably the most, we'll say he's the most powerful Democrat in the world, saying that, hey, I don't care if we go ahead and, just outright call for this guy Biden to be thrown out. You can do that. I'm not saying it myself now. Oh, no, that's a bridge too far for the moment. But, yeah, go ahead, George. Throw him out. So that's right there. It tells you Obama, wants him gone. I mean, everyone knows this. This is not shocking. The Scarborough, those liars, I guess on their show, they broke the opinion. The Obama people want Biden out of there. Shazam! You think? You fucking liars. So yeah, it's getting more and more just naked now as far as everyone in the Democrat elite, the media, the politicians, the donors, they all want Biden out of there. And it's going to get, they will get what they want. That will happen. I am not impressed so far with the Biden's ability to play political hardball. I haven't seen any of it yet, honestly. I haven't seen any pushback. I haven't seen any, how to say this, indications that there's behind the scenes hardball politics going on. And that's what you would need for Biden to ride this out. Now, of course, he is useless, pointless. This is the point of the whole thing. He can't do this kind of hardball, real-world politicking that, frankly, is part of the job description of a United States president. He is incapable. So it's left to amateurs like Jill and Hunter Biden. And really, I don't know, he has a whole lot of other allies. John Fetterman had made a half-hearted attempt to, be on his side. But I think Fetterman's too smart of a politician to totally hitch his wagon to a sinking ship. So I think that the power of the presidency, one thing, but I just don't think old Jill there is up to the task of facing down the entire Democrat establishment. So they're going to bat him around probably for another 5 weeks, I would say. And it'll just be more of what we saw tonight. He'll run out there, he'll have a recitation of his greatness, mumbling and stumbling and making shit up the whole time, misstating words, nonsensical stories, all this stuff. It'll just be more of the same. All the while, the circle's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter around him until, you basically, if he doesn't drop out at some point in mid-August, you'll have, all these powerful people openly calling for him to get out. Based on what Joe Biden himself said tonight, he challenged them all, said, come on at the convention. I'm going to let my delegates do whatever they want. I don't care. They're so loyal to me, they're not going to stab me in the back. I think Caesar said something like that right before Brutus stuck him in the freaking gut. Hey, et tu, Brute? Oh! So he's going down. There's no question about it to me at this juncture. The only question is going to be who are they dropping in. So I think what I'm looking at here going forward, we're going to have at least one episode where we have kind of the Joe Biden burial, where I read a real good article on Red State. I think I'm just going to read it to you verbatim because it basically just gives you who this guy really is. It does make me sad sometimes when some people on our side of the aisle are going, oh, I just feel sorry for Joe Biden because the cruel Jill Biden is elder abusing him. Fuck that shit. This guy gets everything he deserves that's bad and more. He deserves it. He is a scumbag, and he always has been. So I don't feel sorry for Joe Biden in the least. After that, I think we'll start focusing on the real enemies that are dangerous to us, which will be Kamala, probably primarily Kamala. She's probably going to be the nominee. However, if they're able to pull off this blitz primary like the consultants want, then we could get somebody else, that would be probably more dangerous than Kamala. Dangerous meaning have a better chance of winning. Kamala's very dangerous, but there's still probably a pretty good chance that Trump could beat her. There's no moral point in batting Joe Biden around endlessly. He's not going to be the nominee. I think I said that a year ago. I really do. I kind of think I said it would be Michelle Obama. I think if I went through enough previous episodes, I could find that. But yeah, I mean, the secret's out. The dude's been a vegetable for a long time, and at a certain point, you just can't hide it anymore. One more comment here, and we'll call it a night. I was speaking to my hardcore Democrat brother tonight, and he actually sounded semi-rational tonight. He had a moment of one of those shock moments where reality descends upon a Democrat. Someone he works with who, is a blue-collar worker, probably doesn't make that much, told him, I'm leaving the employ here where they both work. Oh, why? Where are you going? Well, I'm going across the street. They pay more, and I need the money. Everything costs more now, everything. And what I'm making here just ain't enough. So I'm gigging this other job, which pays more. And that was shocking to him. It's like, I guess these people some of them don't deal with what we deal with. In other words, if you don't read your bills, if you just pay them, and you don't understand numbers, maybe it doesn't seem like things cost more. Now, if you're like, us, normal people that listen to this program, we actually read the numbers and go, damn, that number is 10% higher than it was last week. Or that number is damn near double what it was just 4, 5, 6 years ago. And we've all had those episodes, whether it be at the grocery store or the gas pump or going out to a restaurant or a movie where we just all of a sudden, that aha moment where McDonald's says they want $16 for a freaking number 2 or 3 meal. And you go, wait a minute, this is McDonald's. I mean, it really ain't that good. $16? We've all had that aha moment. And we say to ourselves, what the hell happened? I'm not making that much more money, if any at all. But the price of everything is just, and who do I see about that? And that was where he was concerned. It was like, man, this might be a real thing. And my candidate might get blamed for it. He actually admitted tonight he thought it was possible. I don't think he said it was likely, but he said it was possible Trump would win. Ta-da! So, I don't know, maybe all hope is not lost sometimes when, the first step in seeing that you got a problem is admitting there is a problem. Now, of course, he's going to blame that on Trump somehow, even though he hadn't been in office in 4 years. But, I think even he is kind of like doing the math thinking, damn, I mean, my guy might be credibly blamed for this inflation problem, which at least one of my compadres was concerned about. So I don't know. So, we got that on our side. It's a bad thing, but it ain't our fault, and that's what our candidate proposes to fix. He's going to fix it by taking the reins off a small business, by cutting regulations. He's going to let us drill for our own oil. Those are probably the two biggest things he could do immediately to get the economy roaring and drive that goddamn inflation down. So, all right, enough of that for tonight. Hey, I'm Eric Arnold. I believe in free speech. We'll talk again.